Welcome. We are exploring the steps for compilation of the Vedic Mathematics references. As a step one, our focus has been about the resolution of the project, the way it is to be initiated, the possible ways the same can be initiated. The step two is about the settlement of the texts of Vedic mathematics, the art of writing, the values to be composed, the values which are to be taken as the foundational values for the texts. Today, as step 3, our concern is about the intelligence domain within which falls the teaching, learning, and the dissemination of the knowledge, the applied values thereof. So learning, teaching, and applications of Vedic mathematics fall within the intelligence domain. Therefore, we have to focus upon the scheme of instructions of Vedic mathematics which take us right up till the intelligence domain. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is preserving the enlightenment that there is a sequential inward placements for senses within a body, and mind a step ahead of senses, buddhi, intelligence is still a step ahead, and beyond that is Atma, the being. So this inward phenomenon, this inward compactification, this inward flow, this inward placement of senses within body, mind within senses, intelligence within mind, and the intelligence itself being within the soul. So we from body, we have to reach up till the soul to have the appreciation of the domain of intelligence. It is the domain of intelligence which is to be the focus point for the instructions, the VM instructions, the VM learning, VM teaching, VM applications are ultimately to take us to the intelligence domain. So unless and until we properly appreciate, properly comprehend, or properly in communication with the values, features of the intelligence domain, we will not be at the success point of the discipline of Vedic mathematics. A step ahead, there is further lineage that we start with the yoga. It takes us to consciousness. Consciousness is to be within body. It takes us to Tej, then it takes us to Jeev, being, then to soul, then we reach to nature. It is beyond that there is a mind, and then there is a Dev, the divinity. So here as well, the sequence as it is of 12 to 20 steps. This is step ahead. When we'll go to 21, it will be Mrityu, a death. 22 is Samriti. 23 is Anand. 24 is Purusha. and it is 25 which is buddhi, the intelligence. So these TCB values, these formulations are TCB values of the range 12 to 25 is to be covered to have an entrance within the intelligence domain. One may also appreciate that 25 is also the TCB of Prithvi as well as of a Vishnu. Therefore, the intelligence domain is of the order of the Prithvi itself, the entire earth. It is also of the order of Vishnu, the overlord of real sixth space, the presiding deity of sixth space. And we know Surya, sun, is the body of sixth space. Therefore, the entire range from Prithvi to Surya is the domain of the intelligence. These features are to be taken care of while we are settling the textbooks of Vedic mathematics, while we are planning the teaching of Vedic mathematics as a main discipline, and while we are planning to make it a mainstream of a graded discipline which sequentially in a coordinated way takes us from the primary stage to the middle stage to high and higher secondary, then to the graduation, post-graduation, and ultimately to the research potentiality stage. All these stages are sequentially coordinated in a graded way, and this gradation is to be in appreciation of the placement of buddhi as antakaran, its inward placement of mind and senses, and again within Atma. And here, when we are having this organization, it also takes us to a particular sequence. Both these sequences are to play their role, and it is in terms of the formats of this sequential placements of different functional domains that we can hope to have a success for proper imparting of the values of Vedic mathematics to young minds, starting from initial stage and up till the stage of perfection of intelligence. Srimad Bhagavad Gita further is preserving the enlightenment that in this world means in this manifested form of a mind within body, and it being a body of a solar universe. So this lok, this existence phenomenon is having twofold processing steps, established processing methods, and these are the yoga and sankhya. Therefore, the yoga nishtha and sankhya nishtha are the pair of established processing steps in terms of which we can have the planned, institutionalized steps for Vedic mathematics instructions in an institutional setup to make Vedic mathematics as a mainstream discipline of knowledge we have to take at the center of the entire exercise that this ultimately is going to be the phenomenon, the functional project, the activity of the intelligence domain itself. Therefore, our focus is to remain upon the intelligence domain. Here, when we are planning, at the planning stage of having a settlement of the textbooks, and these textbooks are meant for imparting Vedic mathematics values, and these values are to be imparted by the institutional methodology arrangement of a teacher and a student, means a mature brain, a perfect brain communicating to the innocence fulfilled brain. It is this perfection of intelligence which is to interact with the innocence. Therefore, the intelligence and innocence are to come in interaction with each other. How the intelligence has a proper inflow of superimposition upon innocence, and without giving any scratch to the innocence, there happens to be a natural evolutionary progress in a natural way for the growth of the intelligence as a field resulting into a perfection. So, innocence to intelligence in itself is the underlying attainment of the teaching of Vedic mathematics. Vedic mathematics as such, at a first step, is to give us an attainment for the young mind fulfilled with innocence, transiting and transforming into a transcendental state of intelligence field. How the innocence transforms into an intelligence, how this attainment is going to be the prime attainment of Vedic mathematics is to remain our prime concern while we will be settling the textbooks, the subject content, the teaching plan. This will naturally take us to how we will be having a Vedic mathematics teacher's training. Therefore, start the step of VM referencer, which as step 2 had taken us to the textbooks. Now as a third step, it is taking us to teacher's training. How Vedic mathematics teachers are to be trained, how the Vedic mathematics teachers will be full of potentialities to impart Vedic mathematics values in the young minds, to have a smooth, natural transition and transformation for the innocence fulfilled young minds into intelligence field. Therefore, the ultimate aim of the referencer is to have a full focus upon the teacher's training. Textbooks settlement is first phase, teacher's training is to the second phase. The next stage will be that how the intelligence itself is having stable base of consciousness. It is this reach, it is this attainment which is going to be the final index of the success of the Vedic mathematics as a mainstream discipline of knowledge. Now, consciousness takes us to Chit, and it is of TC value 13. Now, yoga is the nishtha, is the established processing process, which is to run parallel to the sankhya, the values of numbers. So, how yoga itself as of TC value 12 is to ultimately have a reach at buddhi, which is of TC value 25, and the values range 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 and 25. See, it is 14 steps long range, and value 14 we know is equal to 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. It is a fourfold manifestation layer of hypercube of 4, the representative regular body of a 4 space presided by the Creator himself, Lord Brahma. Now, Lord Brahma is a formulation. Brahma is of TC value 29, and when in these 14 steps we will be reaching only up till value 25, then we have to reach from 25 to value 29. It is a transcendence range. This transcendence range is lively in the process of the intelligence field sustained by consciousness. So the perfection of intelligence, which is going to be the aim of Vedic mathematics instructions, which is going to be the flag point of the teaching of Vedic mathematics values, is ultimately will be having index in the form of this transcendence range. It is this reach from Vishnu, 6 space, to Brahma, a 4 space. So it is within 4 space that we have to organize of transcendence to reach at a 6 space. 4 space we know is playing the role of dimension of a 6 space. Here is a jump over 5. So we ultimately will feel that we have to learn the transcendence. The transcendence potentiality of the mind is to be developed to have a cover of this transcendence range. When we will be having a pause here and we will be seeing that reach from value 12 to value 25, is of summation value 259, and 259 as hypercube 259 is going to lead us to value 519 versions, which is parallel to the total letters of the text of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras. Let us have a pause. Let us appreciate that the source of Vedic mathematics values as the subject content of mainstream discipline of Vedic mathematics, as a text of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras, as a composition of 519 letters, is a full of potentialities to develop the innocence into intelligence field of potentialities of the transcendence range. So, while transiting from the phase of settlement of the text of Ganita Sutras as the source subject content to the teaching methodology, then we have to be confident that the intelligence being of consciousness base, the same is to provide us the necessary achievement. We have to begin as formal teaching of Vedic mathematics in the sequential order of the Ganita Sutras, and the Ganita Sutras of their own will sequentially unfold the entire chain of values needed for transition and transformation of the innocence of the young minds into intelligence field with consciousness base full of potentialities to attain for each one of us a transcending mind. We will be starting with the young minds fulfilled with innocence. We have to transmit Vedic mathematics values into young minds to have a natural transition and transformation of the innocence as intelligence field with consciousness base. The perfection of intelligence as intelligence field with consciousness base will do the rest of its own to make the mind as a transcending mind. Beginning with the young mind fulfilled with innocence and a reach up till the transcending mind is going to be the complete journey of the entire phase of teaching of the discipline of Vedic mathematics. Thank you very much.